interactive pornography at a conference that was led by the Oregon Department of Education and the Oregon Health Authority.
Broad kind of thing that we go online. We use technology for sexual entertainment. We're going to talk about one specific example, which is this thing called interactive pornography. How many people have heard of it? So this is a website, and it's called Virtual Femme. And what the Virtual Femme does is it's trying to make pornography more interactive, and it's based on a kind of software called a bot. And so a bot is just a piece of software that is designed to mimic human interaction, usually either text or voice. So the idea is that it makes you feel like you are interacting with a real person. So the Virtual Femme sort of uses this technology, but not really. The way that it works is that the pornographers have filmed different women, and you go onto the website, you can choose your woman. It's all women. I think it's almost all white women, and it's all straight. And so you can choose Emily, and then you go into a room, and this is one of the first things you'll see. So you'll see Emily sitting in a room, and what you see down on the bottom, I don't know if you can read it, but okay, I'm going to go over here. So on the bottom, you're seeing this sort of text, this chat window thing. And so there's Emily, and Emily says, hello, and then I'm Joe, I guess, and I go, hey. And Emily says, and again, so Emily would be programmed to respond to that. Oh, wow, I can't believe you're here, Joe. Do you want to see my, and then there's a word, and it rhymes with hunt. So you could ask Emily to do one thing or another to Joe. And the way it's all filmed is sort of what they call point of view. So I never see a man's face. I see a sort of body. I'll see like this part, and I see the penis, and that's all I see. That's the basic idea of it, right? The only thing you ever see is whatever these pornographers have decided to film. This is what they call the brain editor. So what you can do with this is that you can see all of the things that they filmed Emily doing, and you can program her to do what you want her to, whatever it is, based on what you want to say, right? So if you don't want to say, give me a blowjob or something, you might want to, you want to say, turn off the lights. So you can program it so that when you say turn off the lights, you see the film of the oral sex scene or whatever it is.
Is this what you want for your child? Contact Parents' Rights in Education. Visit our website, parentsrightsined.net.
If you can't see, feel free to come up. Now, oil-based creates a lot of friction. Now, you can start rubbing. So it's oil-based is eating right now the condom, and we should. So just try to concentrate in one part, not everything else. So we're not going like this, you want to go fast.
Kinky, sex, dominatrix stuff, it's very popular.
Okay, I've heard of it, I haven't read it.
You need to read it. You dress in like all leather or something with the whips and handcuffs. It just depends what type of pain you can take.
It's in our everyday lives. I was driving with a girlfriend and her 10-year-old daughter is in the back seat and she's singing and she said, sex in the air, I don't care, I like the smell of it. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but whips and chains excite me.
Well, hearing that a 10-year-old quoted those lyrics, I just became a Republican.
By Rihanna, who was beaten by Chris Brown, who she's now back with.
BDSM stands for bondage and discipline, domination and submission, sadism and masochism. Sadists like to inflict pain, and masochists like to receive. Using a yes/no maybe chart can be helpful to identify where each of you stands. People sometimes think that those who practice BDSM are emotionally scarred or once abused. Not true. The pain at play with sadomasochism is not like breaking a bone or getting beat up. It's more
I just have some questions about like sex, to be honest.
Okay, I can help answer them.
I'm still kind of new to all this. So we were fooling around the other day, and he threw out that he wanted to try some role play.
Is he older than you?
Yeah, he's 17.
Yeah, they do it all the time.
Really?
People dress up cowboys and Indians type of things, or a nurse, and he would be like a nurse, or you could be the maid, and he would be some rich guy and dressed all fancy.
Okay.
You try to seduce him, and
oh, gotcha.
or you could be a dominatrix type of person, to where you dress in like all leather or something with the whips and handcuffs, and you don't hurt you unless you resist.
And then it's okay. Okay.
Or he might want to be that towards you.
Okay.
Be dominant over you.
Okay. What do you do with like the whips and stuff?
I normally get spanked with the whip, and it doesn't have to be that hard.
Yeah.
I mean, you test you. He needs to understand there needs to be rules to test your limits. 50 Shades of Grey,
I've
have you read
heard of it. I haven't read it.
You need to read it. She is very new to it, never had sex, and he's this experienced guy. So
Okay.
those 3 books are good.
He said that he wanted to try some kink. What is that?
Kind of the same thing as like anal sex might be involved in kinkiness.
Okay.
Toys, on the other hand, you have to be 18 or older to go into the stores to buy the toys.
Oh. Okay.
For that.
Okay.
When does he turn 18?
I don't know. I think in the summer sometime.
I mean, he could go in there.
He could go in and do it for us.
But they do ask for ID, unless like your friend went, if you trusted someone good enough to go in.
To go in and get stuff for us.
But I would start with the taste, and then the role play, and then work up to the harder things.
The harder things.
Fitting and things like that.
Okay.
Like I said, you both need to set a boundary. Like if he says, no, you're not allowed to play in my anal area, or I don't want to be hit this hard, this is the hardest you can hit me type of thing, you need to have your boundaries set. If something is too intense for you, use a safety word.
So like stop.
Yeah, red, black, just anything. The toys, look online to see. When you look online, you'll see what they are.
Okay.
They're things that go down in the vagina area.
Okay.
Anal is something you have to work in, because it is kind of intense and painful sometimes.
Okay.
Especially once you get past. If he's circumcised.
Yeah.
Just because it'll hurt.
Okay.
Just work in whatever you want.
How do I know if something is like, if it's like a good kind of pain or not? Like, how do I know if it's too intense?
It'll feel good to you.
Really? I'll just be able to tell?
Like, it's a width that's like about this long. And you got the handle, and there's like leather that's on it that goes down like this, like several strands, like 30 on it. And it kind of looks like a duster, but a leather duster.
A leather duster.
And with the handcuffs and the rope. It just depends what type of pain you can take. If he wants his chest smacked or something like that.
So
kinky, sex, dominatrix stuff, it's very popular.
Okay.
And people blog about it all the time.
Oh, do they? Okay, cool. So they could give me ideas for like how to start, how to do it.
Yep. I'll give you an example. It's called free porn site that you don't get any viruses off of. Like there's categories that you can click on the categories, and it's just rows of whatever you want to watch.
Okay. Yeah. And so my boyfriend and I could like watch that and just like get. Okay.
Yep. Just Google whatever you have in your head about how to start something. If you have an idea, Google what is in your head, and I'm sure people have already done it.
Okay.
Sexual exploration is normal. Some whipping, some asphyxiation, tying up, take control of me, you can gag them, whip them.
They're playing a sex game.
Keep going.
Yeah, she choked them.
Choked him unconscious?
They're like in the mutilation.
Did she do this to hurt him, or was this like a sex thing?
Yeah, I think it's a sex thing.
When paramedics got there, they found the victim, 43-year-old Jason Earl Ash, with an electrical cord wrapped around his neck. The suspect, 16-year-old Jessica Berlew, told her mom she and Ash were playing sex games, and Ash did not say the safety word.
Do you have insurance?
I don't know. I mean, I think my parents do, but I don't. Yeah, no.
Because you're 15, we do have a program until the age of 18. It's called Project Prevention. Basically, it helps young men and women get access to birth control and STD testing.
I was talking with my boyfriend the other day, and we were just like kind of fooling around, and he said he wanted to start trying like some new stuff with sex. He mentioned that book, 50 Shades of Grey. Yeah. So I think it's like that. I think it's like that.
Okay,
yeah.
So it's similar to like bondage.
Okay.
That would be what it is. Again, with those, you just want to be safe. You want to have a safe word because there can be like tying up and gagging involved, and if something's hurting you and you can't communicate that, you could end up, injured in some way. So a lot of couples will have a safe word. Like if I say this word, like if I say dog, then that means everything stops. Like, no matter, or anything you can think of. You just want to say like
stop or like.
Well, those can kind of get like mixed up when you're having intercourse. So it's like for some people, stop might work for you guys, but for some people, some guys, they don't know, does she really mean stop or does she mean, whatever. And also like an action or something, if you're gagged or something and you can't say that word, you need to be able to do something to let him know. This hurts,
an action or something. Okay.
In the 50 Shades of Grey, there was like, some whipping or, some asphyxiation, tying up. It can involve a lot of different things.
What's that for? Like, I mean, the whipping, like, what's that for?
It some men just get some type of pleasure out of it. Some women get pleasure out of it.
So if my boyfriend and I, if we wanted to, like, try that out, like, where should we start with that? Like,
I think it would be helpful if you guys read the book, to be honest, or even did some internet research on it, and then kind of went through the different things that are in there. And it's like, are you comfortable with this? Are you not comfortable with this? Like, they play with different toys. They have things like scare the hell out of me, but for some people they might like that.
What are those? I mean,
I think they're just things you put on.
Oh man.
Like, I'm like, that to me, but for some women, hey,
that might work.
There's so many different fetishes out there. Like
really?
Some guys like for women to urinate on them, or like, what is it? Pooping, basically. Like, I was trying to find the scientific word for it. But there's some really weird stuff out there, which would be weird to me. For some people, that's completely normal. And it can be really fun, trying to figure out, oh, that was really fun. Or I saw this on this, sex video, and it looked kind of cool. Let's try it.
Let's try it. Okay.
Have you guys ever went to a sex shop together?
No.
Okay.
Well, what is that?
There's tons of sex shops around here.
Oh, really?
That's where they carry different outfits. Like if you want to role play like a teacher or a nurse, they have outfits. They have whips, ties, everything.
And you said there's some here in town?
Like, have you heard of like? It's just basically an adult play store is what they call them.
Okay.
Talking to someone in there might be really helpful, actually.
Oh, they probably have ideas,
huh? That would be a good place for you guys, I think, to go together and get educated together and be able to ask questions together and kind of get more comfortable with trying new things.
Yeah, and then do some research online, like maybe like watch porn or something.
Yep, and you guys can do that together. You can do it on your own and get ideas and bring them to each other. But you can do it together. Some people like to do that and then act it out. Be careful. Some of those will be viruses. Like
true. Viruses. Don't want that.
Yeah. So just be careful with that.
If I were to look that up on my computer, could my parents see that?
Possibly. Do they get on your computer a lot, or?
Well, okay, I use the family computer.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they might be able to go in your history and look. So, you might want to do it elsewhere.
Do it elsewhere, okay.
It kind of just depends, though, if they're, you know, on your computer a lot. Or
it's a family computer, so probably wouldn't want to look anything up, I guess, there, but...
If your phone has internet, you can use your phone, too.
Oh, my phone. I hadn't thought about that. I know it's normal for, like, guys to do stuff on girls, but you said that girls can do stuff on guys, too?
Yeah.
Is that... So, like, what kind of stuff could...
The same thing they do to you. You can gag them, whip them. I mean,
really?
It's completely what they're comfortable with. Again, you both have to be comfortable with it. Some guys are like, oh, no, you're not doing that to me. Some guys love it. They want you to walk them around on a leash, pretend they're a dog or a horse. There's some cool stuff out there that's really interesting. I think you'll have fun doing some research and finding out some new stuff. I mean, you're young, you have, you know, this time to explore. You're lucky to be so young and have a relationship with a partner that you trust. That's rare. So, I mean, take advantage of that.
Using toys, handcuffs, more of a combination between pleasure and pain. Figure out like a safe word.
Could you like say stop? I mean, like
sometimes, usually a lot of people will say stop even though it feels good, so that's usually not something that is used.
Can't really talk to my parents about that.
Totally.
Different people have different types of fetishes. Please don't punish me, or I've been a bad boy, please do punish me. Or you're tied to a bed or tied to a tree. Some people like being spanked or hit.
Oh, really?
Or whipped. There are actually educational pornos out there. You look like you're how old?
15.
15, okay.
My boyfriend, we've been talking about like trying out some new things like with sex.
Sure.
And so we were fooling around the other day and he threw out that he wanted to try some role play.
Okay.
And so I'm wondering, like, is that normal? Like, do people do that a lot?
Yeah, a lot of people, and it's very common to experiment with different things because, you know, missionary position gets boring, and so you try different things, and then you're like, let's try something else. You know, and different people have different things that will turn them on and get them excited. Different people have different types of fetishes. Some guys like feet, and they find that kinky, and they'll maybe want to suck on your toes, or, you know, during intercourse. Or some guys will even want to, you know, into your shoes, which is a little bit different.
Oh, okay.
Then there is kink that can be where you tie each other up, where either he likes being tied up or he wants to tie you up, bondage type thing.
Oh, okay.
If you're into that, then you just need to make sure you, one, have a safe word, to where if I say this word, and it should be something really bizarre that doesn't relate to whatever you're doing, like Jell-O is my safe word.
Why?
Because if you decide, I'm not comfortable with how this is going, I want a safe word so that you know I want you to stop. It can be bondage, it can be passive and aggressive and submissive, where one of you is just passively being punished, or it could be, you know, a lot of different things.
How does that work? Like the passive and submissive, like.
It depends on the role. Sometimes the guys like women to be very aggressive, and they'll be submissive and please don't punish me, or I've been a bad boy, please do punish me. Or they want to be the aggressor. And so that's where it's really important to have a safe word and be comfortable with your partner and know that when you say your safe word, he will stop. Some people like to play the baby thing where they will, put on diapers and be the baby. And then they want to, you know, like pretend they're breastfeeding. I mean, kink has a wide range.
So it's just like a lot you can do with it.
And it just depends on what you guys are comfortable with. When people get tied up, sometimes they use like scarves, something easy to do, or ropes. Some people go more extreme and use actual handcuffs.
Oh, really?
But then you have to trust that your partner will unlock you.
Right.
And it can be, you know, you're tied to a bed or tied to a tree or, you know, just tied behind your back or above your head.
Okay.
You know, whatever.
Okay. So, handcuffs. Okay.
And they do have handcuffs specifically for that are, you can self-release from.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. But you have to go to the porno stores to get them, and if you're 15, you're underage and you can't go in.
Okay. Could my boyfriend go in? How old do you have to be?
21.
21, okay.
So you may want to start with like scarves or something.
Something else.
Or just little toy handcuffs, but know that they'll probably release.
Probably, yeah.
Some people like being spanked or hit.
Oh, really?
Or whipped.
Oh, okay. Wait, so that you actually would like use a whip? Like, oh, interesting. I've never heard of that before.
Look online, and Kama Sutra has books with different, is a book of ancient Hindu, and it has different positions. You could probably find books on sex and kinkiness and all of that.
Kama Sutra?
Kama Sutra.
Kama Sutra.
You could probably try The Joy of Sex.
The Joy of Sex.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And that's just about, is that positions too, or is that
it's about
more everything?
Enjoying sex with your partner, and talks different positions and different things you can do.
Okay. Okay. And then to find out more about like role play and like kink specifically, are there books on that too?
Probably, or you could try the internet.
Okay.
Although if you put something like that in the internet, you're going to get some interesting videos.
Would be an idea of like a bad website to go to, because I just want to be sure that I know, like,
anything with like hot naked girls in the title.
Okay.
You know, those are going to be porno sites.
Oh,
doesn't mean they're not educational, you know, but there are actually educational pornos out there.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. Women-oriented porn will tend to have more of the guy trying to pleasure the woman, which is important, because if the guy is not taking time to pleasure the woman, you won't enjoy it as much.
So woman-oriented porn, that can be helpful to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Things that happen in 50 Shades of Grey all center around pain and your response to pain. Things like whips and nipple clamps. You can get a horse whip.
Oh, wow.
Like welts across the back. I wouldn't say abuse, because it's consensual. If he wants to try something that's physical, that is going to cause you harm or pain, and you're okay with that, that's a completely different thing than he wants to try something to do that you're not okay with. Patients will sometimes come in with rope burns or markings on their breasts from like clamps. And again, if it's consensual,
it's okay.
It's okay. If you're both consenting to it, it's something that's happening behind closed doors, that's okay. Anything within the sexual world is normal as long as it's consensual.
And can I just ask you quickly how old you are?
I'm 15.
Okay.
He kind of threw out that he wanted to try some new things. He threw out like role play.
Okay.
And it sounded like a fun idea, but I guess like I just don't really know if that's like normal.
Role play absolutely is normal. I would say anything within the sexual world is normal as long as it's consensual between the two people.
He threw out a book called 50 Shades of Grey.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
All right. So, okay, have you read that book?
No.
Has he?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
Actually.
I
think
that's interesting.
So.
Okay.
Why?
So there are lots of things that happen in 50 Shades of Grey that border on, I wouldn't say abuse because it's consensual, but definitely extreme. So there are things that happen in 50 Shades of Grey that are extreme. Now, if it's consensual, again, completely normal. Things that happen in 50 Shades of Grey, I'll center around pain and your response to pain and submission. I'm not going to say whether it's right or wrong. I thought it was a good book, but whether the behavior itself is right or wrong, I don't know. My focus really would be on your safety and just that it's consensual. Those are, again, the two pieces that I would say are the most important part. So if he wants to try something that's physical, that is going to cause you harm or pain, and you're okay with that, that's a completely different thing than he wants to try something to do that you're not okay with or that you feel pressured to.
Okay.
Role play to the extreme of submissive behavior. It's pretty extreme. At the age of 16, I don't know that it's something that I would recommend. But I guess if you're both of the same age with the same expectations, then I think that's okay. I would be really open and ask him, what is it that you think you want to do? And what are you asking me? Items that are used in 50 Shades would be things like whips and nipple clamps and I don't know, it's been a while, and there are lots of physical things in there, and again, a lot of them focus around pain. So I would just be frank with him and say, what exactly is it that you're suggesting we try? I'm open to it, but I just want to know what it is you mean so that we're on the same page.
Do people actually use the whips, or are they more like props?
No, they're like
you actually
like
use
whips,
them? Oh wow!
Like welts across the back.
What? Why? Like what's? How does
Why
that
would
work?
you do that?
How does that?
Yeah. Again, you're getting into kind of a realm of a sexual world where it's personal preference.
Okay.
And as long as it's consensual, it's okay. But there are, like I said, there are people, there are thoughts that that's borderline of okay behavior. And I look at it and I say, if you're both consenting to it, it's something that's happening behind closed doors, that's okay. If it's something that you're thinking about, I would read the book.
Read the book?
If he says to you, I read the book, or I've heard about the book, and there were some ideas in there that I'd like to try, then I would say read the book. That you know what he's referring to, because otherwise you're not on the same ground.
Okay. So if it does turn out that, like, I mean, what he's thinking is along with the whips or, and I, you know, I'm okay with like experimenting or whatever. Do you think it's okay if we try that? Like, there's nothing wrong with that?
There's nothing wrong with trying it, no.
Okay.
But if you try it and didn't like it, or if you're trying it and you say stop, then there needs to be that communication. There are definitely stores just across the street here. It's kind of like a higher end boutique. Other places you might have or heard of would be like those kinds of places are going to sell sex toys, sex props, those kinds of things.
Okay.
They exist. It's not illegal. It's not, you're not, you know, okay. Is it normal in a 16-year-old's relationship? I would say it's unusual for people to tell me about it, but I don't know that it's not normal, that it's not happening.
Okay.
Are you on any form of birth control?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you feel like you're having safe sex in that regard?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And I think it's going to just depend on what it is that you're looking for. You know, I mean, you can get a horse whip. I wouldn't recommend it, but I'm sure you can. So, I mean, it just kind of depends on what you guys are looking for.
Okay.
There are probably a lot of things out there that I don't even know about.
Okay.
I know, for example, patients will sometimes come in with rope burns or markings on their breasts from, like, clamps.
Oh,
And again, if it's consensual,
it's okay.
It's okay. There are things like, they call them, and I mean, there are all kinds of anal play. Those kind of fall more into the category of sex toys, that kind of stuff. Again, all normal as long as it's consensual. If it's just two kids that go to school together that are, well, relatively, but you know, if you're on equal ground and you're both consenting to the behavior that you're doing, then it is okay.
Did you know a U.S. business has been caught on tape willing to aid child sex traffickers? Did you know This business also performs over 300,000 abortions every year. Did you know this same business has even agreed to perform or finance abortions based solely on the sex and race of the baby? Did you know that last year alone, this business received over $500 million of our tax money? Did you know that you can do something to end it? Visit PlannedParenthoodExposed.com and sign the petition to end the taxpayer funding of Planned Parenthood. Now that you know, what will you do?